Okay, we are going to bring up some people now to help illustrate just what this organization has done for them and what they've helped other people to do. The next person I would like to introduce to you is Mike Mascaro. I think the first thing you will notice about him is that he might be the only person in the room who's taller than I am, and yet somehow he doesn't seem even remotely gawky like I am. Mike is the Senior Director of Engineering, Construction, and Commercial Services for Comcast's Northeast Division. He also has a very unique perspective on Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters and pretty much on youth mentoring in general. It's because 30 years ago, when he was living in East Hartford, Mike was a little in the program, and that is just the start to what is a tremendous story. So there's really no reason for me to go on. Let's bring him right up here to tell it to you. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mike Mascaro.
Trust me, I'm just as gawky and goofy as possible. So good evening. Thanks everyone for being here tonight. You know, I'm going to try something new tonight. I brought my iPad, and this is dangerous because at any point my Angry Birds might pop up. And if that happens, I'm sorry, I need the gold. So I'm going to have to collect the coins, and then we'll continue. So I apologize. Or the batteries could die, and we're going to see what happens from there. So anyways, Tim mentioned I do have a unique perspective, and seeing everyone here tonight, I didn't think it was going to be this big. You get up, we're in the front of the room, and you look around, you're like, oh, there's 200 people behind you, so this will be interesting. When I was about 8 years old, 6 years old, my mom and my father had divorced, and my mom, unfortunately, had to move to a different place, and we didn't have an opportunity to be exposed to a lot of positive male mentors. My mom absolutely had enough, if anything, she had enough insight to say, my brother and I were going to need some type of positive male role model in our lives. And so she turned to Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters 33 years ago to make that match happen. Now, my older brother, of course, was your typical older brother. I mean, he grew joy out of tormenting me any way he could. So he actually received his big brother first. And of course, like any big brother, he would come home and brag, and he would rub it in my face that he went fishing, and he went camping, and he went to the movies, and I'm like, And ultimately, I think it took about a year for my match to happen. But honestly, I'm going to be completely honest, I think it was less than that, but in 8-year-old terms, it seemed like an eternity. So it was probably really 3 weeks. But I remember nagging my mom, like, where's my guy, And I did get a chance to meet Tim. Not this Tim, by the way. This Tim seems like he's going to be an awesome mentor, by the way. Good luck. For your wife, actually. I was wishing her good luck. You definitely have your hands full. As long as it's not Underoos, you're okay, I think. So there's a chance to save him. But I received my big brother, or we matched, and I met Tim for the first time, and he was probably 24, 25 years old himself. He was working at Cigna Insurance, and I was just overwhelmed. He pulled up in a green Chevy Citation. Clearly, Tim was on Skid Row. But it proves the point that he had, the heart to come and mentor somebody like myself in a slightly disadvantaged situation. So, Tim, one of the questions I get frequently the most is, what does it cost to be a big? What does it cost? What were some of the things that you would do? What changed your life? And I always say the things that Tim and I did were really free of charge. I mean, he made me part of his family. He would take me to his softball games. We would play basketball together. Occasionally, he would allow me in his pool. I say occasionally because a few patio furniture chairs may have found its way in the pool, and we may have got kicked out, and so we didn't swim that much more after that. But what I realized was my friends who I was growing up with in the I guess we'll call them the projects that I was living in East Hartford, they were becoming jealous of this relationship that I had with Tim. And Tim was so kind, he would let me bring a friend or two with us as well. But selfishly, I didn't want them to come, so I'd pretend when I disappear that it had nothing to do with me going with Tim, that I was actually doing homework, which they had no interest in either. So, but fast forwarding, I think the other question I get a lot is, did Tim change your life? And I would always say, at 8, you don't know the impact that Tim is having on your life at such a young age. I would say what's unique about our relationship is that Tim and I still are family 33 years later. I mean, we are still matched, and he's still, thank you. I'll be honest with you, if I talk about it too much, I get a little choked up, and I might lose it. So we'll just, he's an amazing human being. He's adopted 2 children of his own, and if the world had people like Tim, it would just be, and there's a lot, luckily they're all in this room, right? So luckily we have all 200 of them here, but unfortunately the kids that I did grow up with, and this is the other thing I get asked quite a bit is, what happened to the folks that you did grow up with? And a lot of those children who grew into adults, unfortunately, by my own little scientific count and experiment, you find out a lot of them were in prison. Unfortunately, a lot of them turned to drugs and violence, and unfortunately, a lot of them have passed away. And this isn't to be a sad story, it's really just to prove to you the positivity that when people ask me, does male mentoring work? I would say, absolutely. I also have had an opportunity to be a big brother through Comcast. Luckily, sponsors a program in partnership with Nutmeg Big Brothers Big Sisters. It's called Beyond School Walls. I get a chance to promote it any way I can because I think it shows that folks who are representing corporations can actually bring this type of program into your business and do what we call on-site mentoring. So it really is easy lifting for the companies, the employees enjoy it, and it really takes all the kind of the excuse out of it because we all do have busy schedules, but you can really become a part of the program, and any opportunity I get to do that, I'm happy to. And honestly, we've seen a lot of relationships that go into the traditional mentoring programs stem from that. So they start off at the businesses and then they kind of grow outward from there. And I think that's just a wonderful way of getting through it. I've said this before. I think a lot of people in this room wonder if you make donations or if you attend the galas or you go to the parties and all the other wonderful things, and you wonder, where does the money go? Where does the support go? I'm here to simply tell you that, 33 years later, that I'm sort of living proof that these things really do work. I've had an opportunity to be on the board of directors with Andy and Ken and a lot of the other folks in this room, and you couldn't ask for a group of better people who are doing it because they care. So if you ever wonder, I'm living proof, and you can happily talk to me anytime about whether or not it made an impact on my life. So thank you for being here. Happy 50th anniversary to a wonderful organization, and eat more cheese.